questions on the floor at this time.
At this press conference, Federal Minister Jonathan Wilkinson announced the end of open net fish farms in BC.
The open net farms will be fully terminated in terms of operations within 5 years.
And in that 5-year timeline, 63 BC salmon fish farm license holders will be expected to move entirely to land-based operations. However, that plan is not feasible, says Brian Kingsit, Executive Director of BC Salmon Farmers.
Right now, land-based salmon culture is 0.07% of farm salmon around the world. And even though none of those systems have actually managed to come to scale with anything. The biggest one, which has had more than $1 billion poured into it, has now lost 98% of its value. So asking investors to move to this with no support, which would be massive, is simply impossible in the rural areas that the First Nations and the companies work in.
Kingsit says that a lot of the salmon farming operations are located in remote First Nations territories where they are not on the power grid, and it's not an ideal condition for a full transition. With over 500 Indigenous people directly employed in remote communities from the industry, a separate press conference was held across the street from those stakeholders.
5 years to transition to land-based or closed containment in my territory is the same as shutting our operations down. We do not have the land or the supporting power infrastructure to do this.
Chief Bob Chamberlain says there are 120 First Nations in BC who support the government's plan to shut down these farms because they strongly believe that fish farming is bad for the wild salmon stock.
When the Wild Salmon Alliance began to inform First Nations of the rationale for being supportive of the removal, it's based upon fact. Being able to draw First Nations that have Aboriginal rights to fish that are dying at fish farms from sea lice and disease and pathogen and bacteria, it's a step forward in reconciliation.
However, these chiefs say with a lack of consultation, the decision to remove the farms will have a dire impact on their remote communities. Tina House, APTN National News, Vancouver.